One of the big misses is how transparent the dating process is. People are thinking of like strategies or this or that. You've got to put yourself out there. Who's setting you up? Okay. Who's actually setting you up? The answer is nobody. Okay. Maybe one friend has set you up once, but primarily my clients are sharing in context and following that they aren't being set up. You really need to take matters into your own hands. And if you're taking yourself so seriously and your ego's like holding on to the hope of reading any little thing into who you are, making it mean something about you, you're just going to make your whole process so much harder. So just get accustomed to the fact that rejection is that redirection and experience it. If you're not putting yourself in the position to experience rejection, then you're not putting yourself out there.
Welcome to Rise, Shine, and Redefine, the podcast where entrepreneurship meets purpose. I'm Karen Meininger, and I'll help you create an authentic and powerful business. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Rise, Shine, and Redefine podcast. I'm Karen Meininger, your host, and I have one of my favorite people in the entire world here, Megan Weks. She is a creative force behind the Manfunnel method. Her revolutionary approach has caught the attention of Forbes, the New York Times, Wall Street Journal. She supports celebrities to everyday love seekers and has helped thousands of women on their journey to love. Megan, you're here.
Thank you, Karen. I know. I feel like we had to do this podcast just so we could hang out again because we're both so busy right now. It's like such an honor and pleasure to be here. And I love everything that you've been up to, just soaking it all in. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. And I know you're just like the masterful dating Manfunnel queen. So let's just talk about dating and women who, do you have women or men or both?
Primarily. So my real deep passion is to support women who are having a hard time out there. My superpower is just to get in there and with a surgical precision, and I can really see what's going on and pull out like the things that they're doing. Like, I don't really necessarily like the word blocks. It's just like, literally there are things that we're doing in the way our ego is showing up and blocking our heart's path to love. And like, that's what I absolutely love doing. Yes, I support certain commitment oriented men and I enjoy supporting men. But I absolutely love helping women to get out of their own way in this manner. And it becomes very easy after that for them.
Yeah. So how did the Manfunnel come about? One, I want to really learn what the Manfunnel is, and what was like the creative process. Like, tell me your story.
Sure.
What
It's
happened?
a long time in the making. The Manfunnel is actually something that just comes from my life personally. I really didn't know what I wanted to do after I graduated. And my brother was like, just come work at my tech company. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I was like, all of a sudden doing sales and like hardcore sales, like boiler room, like pounding the phones and like kicked out of your cubicle before 9 a.m. to like knock on doors and get decision makers out and pitch them. And like, this was very scary for me. I was shy, this was like not fun. And then nobody in my whole company, basically everybody was missing quota 1 month, Karen. And so the like senior vice president comes in and he slams this notebook, like these papers down across this like huge conference table where we're all like shaking in our boots. And he was like, they had a picture of a funnel on them. And he was like, only 20% of your funnel will close. Get leads. Okay. Like, I shit you not. And then, so I'm like all scared, but I like never really put to it. I never really had thought of it that way, that only 20% of the leads or in your prospecting process are going to move to the bottom of the funnel. I was busy nurturing like the people who were okie doking me, like men who were being nice to me on the phone or, and I was just like, they were being nice. So I thought maybe that was going to close or something. I didn't really think of it that way. And then when my friends started coming to me, kind of complaining about guys as women do with one another, right? Or talking about men situations, I just translated that quickly into, you need to fill your funnel. You need to fill your funnel. And like just that mantra helped my friends so much. Like it helped us to just not get stuck on something that wasn't working, not to spend too much time in the wrong situations. And so this was in my very early 20s. My friends and I have been using this term, like, to fill your funnel with regard to dating for so many years. It's just actually hilarious. And they all find it hilarious that now I'm actually supporting women on a quantifiable, a systematic approach that's called the Manfunnel, that was born through that.
It sounds similar. I remember watching, I don't know the name of it, but it was one of those reality shows. Mm-hmm. And this girl was like, you need to have a rotation. And it just like stuck with me too. It's like, who's in your rotation? So you weren't like, is that similar? Like filling your funnel, like making sure.
People always talk about like roster dating and all that stuff. And sure, but it's a lot deeper than that. But for a woman, the thing is, like, we will date you, and if you're triggering us emotionally, we will start to see like our unborn children in your eyes. Like, we literally can, I think, biologically predisposed to start having visions of you. And so the problem is, when we have a laser focus on somebody, it affects us deeply. And we have a very hard time then being ourselves, showing up authentically, not stressing out, not having high levels of dating angst. And I think so many women have much high, especially powerful women who like have so much control of their lives in so many ways. Like, it's an extremely humbling experience when a man can come into their life and like shatter it so quickly, and they don't want to admit that. And so the tools that I offer really help to like dissipate those feelings, whether you're using a metaphorical man funnel or an actual one, like seeing more than one person, like in the preliminary process of your dating. I'm not talking about, this isn't about like dating multiple people deeply. Like, there's a whole set of when and why and where and what to say. But like, just in a nutshell, the skills offer so much clarity and serenity and guidelines that like just make my clients feel so much more confident and powerful when they're doing their thing.
So what's a metaphorical funnel? What does that mean?
So the man funnel has it's like a lifestyle. So metaphorically, like, you can date yourself, right? You can actively continue to keep your life intact and do the things that fill you up and chase your curiosities and create that fulfilled life. Like, I don't want you to just be dropping your life and changing things because someone has come along. And like I said, you start to build that story in your mind, editorialize what could be. Can you relate to that? Is that a natural process that you experienced pre-marriage when you were dating people? Like, I'd love to hear from your perspective.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I'll give you two perspectives. I'll give you perspective now and perspective pre-marriage. Yeah. So perspective now is, I like to look at not just dating, but life. Like, be obsessed with your life. Like, I start waking up every day and I'd be like, are you ready to have the best day of your life? And it's just like, you're already telling the universe, like, I'm not difficult. I'm ready. I'm showing up in my full authentic self and who I am. And I get to be me every single day, and I get to break rules, and I don't have to follow societal norms, and I can show up however I want. That feels really good for me.
Yep. Without
some guy or some social media strategy or some funnel, right? Not your funnel, but like,
right. I know what you mean.
But like telling you how
funnels that are attacking us all day on the gram as a business owner. Yes, I'm fully aware of those.
Permission to color outside the lines. And I think it's the same with dating, right? It's like, I mean, God, it's like going pre-marriage. Okay. I don't even know how many like relationship propaganda books I have read in my entire life that I think at some point I could have been a dating coach. Seriously, like, I think I still have like Why Men Love Bitches on my
I know. I just gave mine to Goodwill like literally 2 days ago because I
have like Why Men Love Bitches.
I have like everyone.
Why Men Marry Bitches. I just had Sabrina on. She did a new mode. I had her shit. Like, I mean, my God. And it was like, okay, like, no contact for 30 days. And it's like, you have to to the no 30-day contact. And if you don't, you fuck it up and then you got to start over. And it's like, if you don't follow this rule, like you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life. And somehow that's like programmed into your life of like, oh my God, I text him. I ruined myself. I ruined who I am. And it's like, yep, that was me. I remember being on 30-day no contact. Like, and if I like couldn't make it the 30 days, then I'd have to start over. And I'd be like, oh, God, I'm ruined for life.
For not following the rules. But I love your paradigm on life, Karen. Like that's what I love about you. Your energy's so bright. You have so much to like offer anyone who's, in your space. And like, this is what is missing from some of the, I don't understand. Some of the daily practices from the women that I support. We get this, they need to tap into their magic. Right. And I think that you have that down, on a spiritual level, and it just makes life so much fun. Like you're magical with or without who is in your funnel. Okay. But metaphorically, that's really what it's all about, is like dating yourself and it's really all a guide in dating that leads you toward an abundance in your life, period. And so that's like the lifestyle. That's the metaphor. And it really works with everything. Now, the noun of Manfunnel. Okay. So manfunneling is a verb, like going out and filling your funnel, which I think is very fun. And I support my clients on that. And then the noun is the actual funnel of the people you are exploring. And when I say not deeply exploring, what I mean is like in the Manfunnel, what differentiates Manfunnel dating versus like some other dating, you can say you have a roster, but those could be like your ring of fire, like who you're sleeping with. But with the Manfunnel, it's highly encouraged to just like explore people before physical intimacy and make decisions with a clear head, because we do lose most of the function of our frontal lobe when we've been intimate, when we orgasm, when that oxytocin floods, especially as a woman. And so we really lack clarity and reasoning, and those red flags, you can't even even if you try to hold them in your brain, when the oxytocin is flowing, your brain just like jettisons them. Like they just don't stay. You cannot see it. And so I really want clients who are trying to intentionally date and they really want to meet somebody. And I'm not saying like the end all be all, it's like be with someone. You don't need to, but if that's what you want and it hasn't been working, it's important to do things on a clear head and this is like, choosing someone is one of the biggest decisions that you'll make that correlate to your happiness in your life. So I want them to do it without all the hormones and neurotransmitters that really kidnap your frontal lobe, basically.
Yeah, and I think especially women, right? We don't buy into things from our logical brain. We buy into things from
anyone. That's the sales process. Everybody buys.
Yeah, it's like we buy, we date, we marry, we do stupid things all from emotion, right? And it's like, okay, how do we become neutral, right? And I don't know if I know some of my listeners follow human design. So like for me in human design, I'm an emotional generator. So like if I'm making a big decision, I need like at least 3 days to be like.
No, me too. I'm a protector. I definitely need to sleep on it.
Yeah. So it's like, and then we get impulsive, right? Like, have you ever just impulsively bought something? It's like, I feel like it's the same with like when you meet a guy, you're like you said, all the hormones, all the serotonin and oxytocin and all the things are flowing. And you're living in the past, the present, and the future all at the same time. And you're like, oh my God. And then you get into the scarcity of like, if things are going good, right? Yeah. Let's say things are going good, or they start to kind of shift a little bit. We're like, oh, something's off. You're like, oh my God, I'm about to lose my past, my present, and my future all at the same time. And you're in scarcity mindset. And so a question I have for you is, okay, let's say you're in the funnel, right? You're figuring, you're metaphorically in the funnel, you're physically in the funnel.
You're funneling.
You have a funnel, you're funneling.
and you're living the
get the
man
funnel
life.
beer out. No, just kidding. As we were on a cruise last weekend and they're like shotgunning beers, like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is a metaphor of life right here.
Wow.
Okay. So what would be, okay. Cause I've been here. So let's say I'm really like starting to feel all those things for a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice the breaks, like I'm sensing, okay, he's not as like, he's not into, it doesn't feel like he's into me as much. And I'm like starting to get scared and I'm starting to panic. And what do I do? Like, what would you tell me to do when that starts to happen?
Well, number one, just, in order for us not to sabotage within the dating process and like, when those feelings come up, what does our brain do as a woman? We start to editorialize different stories for like why he may not be showing up as much. And so like your brain is going to latch on to one little story. And even if it's bad, our brain still wants like finality. It still wants answers. Okay. So sitting with discomfort is a huge practice to work toward when you're dating, because a lot of it is uncomfortable. And when we have that discomfort, it triggers sabotaging behaviors. Okay. So we just want to keep that gray area of like, okay, it could be that thing. And that's entirely a possibility that it's worst case scenario. He's lost interest. Or it could be like umpteen other scenarios as well as to why he's showing up in a certain way. Now, I really don't want you to make any of those scenarios your problem though. Like once you start editorializing and freaking out and worrying, it's really a key sign to do one thing. What might that be, Karen? What do you think?
Do nothing. That's what his mind was like. Don't do anything.
Fill your funnel.
Fill your funnel. Duh.
Okay, you're getting this laser focus, your expectations, like you're starting to you've already become invested in what that person can do for you in your life. Like your life, you're going to be fine with or without that person. And your focus and expectations have grown. And probably once you're shifting out of that laser focus and analyzation of masculine energy and inside his side of what I call the energy bubble, is exactly when he may feel that little shift. And that's usually exactly when they reach out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I just want to circle back to, it's amazing what our brain does, right? Our brain is programmed to find what's wrong. So it's always going to be like in fix it mode. And I think if a partner is kind of, putting the brakes on, we're going to be like, how do I fix this? Instead of stretching the capacity to be in the discomfort of it not feeling so good right now, right? And you get to choose the story, right? Like there's a reality, like you were saying, it's not your problem. Like the reality is, okay, he's maybe not reaching out as much. That's a reality. But the story that you create around that reality is totally up to you. You could look at it as like, sweet, he's giving me all this space to fill my funnel and I got to go do life.
I love you. You're so cute.
I got to go do life and right. You get to choose how to look at it. Right. And versus, oh my God, he doesn't like me anymore. That means something about me. Now I'm not worthy. Now I'm in a spiral. Now I'm going to go in a hole. Now I can't date. Now my funnel's exploded and I have to start over. So it's like being able to fine. The reality is this is a reality. You can't argue with reality. You will lose 100% of the time, according to Byron Katie. You will lose that it already happened. It's now in your past. So you can choose to shift the mindset in the story of being like, this is happening for me. How can I go live my life in the best possible way? Light myself up, be obsessed with myself, because when you're obsessed with your life, what happens? You're going to attract more to your funnel.
Magnetize everything. So
that's right.
Like what you said, Karen, it's an opportunity. And that's what the man funnel is constantly reminding you of. Like, okay, so he's not showing up. He's not obsessed with you anymore. So he's totally opening up your funnel for you so you can find that person who is, and that's it. And it's really your job to put out your best energy so you can then attract somebody who you enjoy, who you want to spend your time with. But once we get into that negative spiral, like the whole vibration is off. Like it's really all about your light. And when your light is heavy or blocked,
and you're giving away your power. It's like you're going to let somebody else control how you feel, right? You get to insource and feel what you want to feel. It's your choice. It's your choice. And a lot of times with relationships, whether it's a partner, clients, parents, right? They're your mirror. They're your mirror. So if you're triggered by this particular person or thing or situation, it's like, how can I turn this back on me and be like, where do I need healing? Right? What is this showing me that I still need to heal with inside me? Because for me, before I got married, I needed validation from men to feel worthy.
Yeah.
Like that was a huge lesson, right? I wasn't daddy's little girl. My dad never told me he loved me or hugged me or any of those things. So in order for me to feel loved, I needed to get it, right? With my daddy issues, right? And this was kind of the mirror for me of, okay, like this is something not healed within you that you need to constantly need validation from men to feel good about yourself. And once I could see it and wake up from the pattern of like, I'm going to the next guy so I can feel good. And the next guy had to be better looking and hotter and sexier, because then I was like, now I'm worthy. Now I'm worthy because I got this guy that so really doesn't even make me feel good at all.
Yep. Because look, the external validation is one thing. And then the external parameters come along with that. And when we are dating with anything that is ego led, and, of course, women have so many parameters. Okay. Anything that we're doing that is ego led makes dating more challenging and takes you away from that soul connection that could truly really stand the test of time. So both of those are hand in hand. So I'm really glad you bring it up. Like one of the challenges that I'm constantly seeing, it's just the external parameters of like height and lifestyle that women are like constantly chasing. And look, I can understand to a certain degree, but there are women that are just like, they want love so badly and they are left behind because they're, the only thing that they want is within certain parameters. And it's sad.
Yeah, it's like insert groom here, right? Insert groom. And now I'm happily ever after. And it's also, I love too, like dating yourself. Like I think society and Instagram and social media and all those things, and you see like men buying these extravagant trips and bags and things, and you're like, in order for me to feel like I'm in my essence and I'm in my beauty, I need those things.
Right.
Where like for me, like my husband doesn't do those things for me. Like he doesn't buy me things, I guess, let me say. But the way he shows up, I was crying on the floor yesterday for no reason. I don't know what, I had trapped emotion. I needed to release it. Yeah. I called his name and he sat on the floor with me. Not understanding what was wrong. I didn't understand what was wrong. I didn't know how to tell him it's going to make me cry. And I was like, thank you so much for sitting on the floor with me. Like to me, that was like love. That is showing up. That is like not having to understand and still being there. Yeah. And I think when we can get out of our own way of like, they have to do all these things to feel love, you're missing out on what fulfillment actually is.
So when you found that realization of your patterning, how were you able to dissolve and rise above? And mind you, I still honor the fact that there's still reminisce like pieces of our patterns that stick around. They can, that are always there. They're ugly heads. But I'm just curious because I know you have so many good processes to share. I'm just curious about your process.
Yeah. Well, I've done a lot of deep healing in the past 2 years, just like mother wounds, father wounds, right? I think now looking back, I can see the patterns a little bit better than when I was in them. But what I noticed before I got married, when I was dating, is I was, what was I doing? I was like trying to prove myself.
Yep.
I was trying to prove myself and like, I'm going to be the girl that shows you how to be like, that's going to like make you the best guy ever. Right. But what I was learning is like, they actually thought I felt they were a loser. Right. Like on a subconscious
It's very
level.
emasculating.
Right. And I kept doing it because I was like, I'm going to be the person that makes you better. And you don't even know it. And I was in this cycle because I felt if I proved myself, then I was worthy of your love. And that kept happening. And so when I met my husband, actually, it's a whole story, but I like basically manifested my husband and I was ready. I have a whole manifestation story. It's on YouTube. You guys can check it out. Yeah. And this is kind of, with him, I was like, I got to break this pattern. And, you know, I met him and he's like, I'm an entrepreneur. And I created this whole like cool, like fitness apparatus. And I'm like, an entrepreneur. Yes. And then old me would have been like, I'm going to help you build this business and like, forget about me. Right. And old me would have been like, okay, I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to market it. I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to get you into Walmart, the Walmarts and the Target. And I'm going to get you I'm going to find the people. That's old me would have done all of that. And I would have put my whole self aside. And I had to fight it. Because I wanted to. And I was like, I was like, I'm going to make this a success. Like, you know, the overachiever in me, it was all of that. You know, I was just like, I'm going to take this product to the next level and you're going to thank me for it. And I did none of it. I was like, you know what? That's your thing. You want to build it. And even today, so my husband is, right, he wrote a children's book, okay? Old me would have been like, let's get it published, let's go, where's the illustrator, we're gone, it's on the books, it's on Amazon, it's on the things, right? Nope, I'm still like, that's your thing. That's all you. Like, if you need support, I am fully here to support you and love you in your endeavors of doing this, but I'm not doing it for you. And to me, that was just like a huge relief and like staying in my truth of like not needing to feel worthy externally by like thinking I had to prove myself to like help that somebody else succeed. Yes, I'm a coach and I love being a vision expander for my clients and like living and showing them, hey, look, this is what's possible for you. I mean, one of my clients, like she wanted to have more sales in real estate.
Yeah.
And within 2 months, she had like 5 new clients, has guys. She's got a funnel going, you know, like she's like crushing it because it's like, stay out of other people's business. Like focus on you, be obsessed with your life. And it's magical. It's like fairy dust and glitter explosions. And then when you can do that for yourself, like the right guy, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're just going to attract the right people into your life.
Well, you're touching on something huge. The inverse of what you're talking about, overgiving and compensating, usually comes from a place of lack, right? And we want to be seen as that helper. We want to provide value. And it oftentimes comes from having to do that in our primary families, like overworking or what we had to do to receive love. So we're programmed this way, especially as coaches. But the other side, which is interesting that you bring up, that I'm curious, Karen, if you can experience, is
whose podcast is this?
Like when we are overdoing, overworking, overfunctioning, and all of that, like what I'm saying is the inverse of that is like a lot of the powerful women that I work with have to actually learn how to receive. The inability to receive, blocking receiving. It does not work when you have a masculine man who wants to do for you. They are naturally programmed. A healthy masculine man wants to make your life better. He wants to sit with you when you're crying on the floor. He wants to like take out that garbage, like do those little things that make your life easier naturally. He's going to do that. And if we're so prickly and we're unable to receive, it affects the polarity. Okay. It's like metal on metal. So curious about your experience, because when you're sharing what you were doing and totally focused on like how you could provide value, how was it when it came to receiving things from him or the other men in your process?
Yeah. So it's also learning. I think there's a lot of learnings of things from your past and your childhood, right? Like I have avoidant attachment issues, right? I'm an avoidant, and it's like you have to almost overcompensate in order to feel love, right? Like my family avoided me. Like, sorry if you guys are listening, but they did, right? I felt completely excluded. So that overcompensation kept happening over and over and over again. And it's like, wait a minute, like I was still, and still now like a CEO of a company, and now I left that company and I'm the CEO of my brand, Karen Meininger. But it's like it's a dance, right? And I think the CEO powerhouse women they want to do and they don't want to be, like you said, and they don't want to receive, but it's like do, be, right? We got to do and we got to be. And when you start to be in the feminine and in the divine and in the receiving, it's like magic happens. Granted, the dynamics in my marriage are still, I'm the business owner and my husband's a stay-at-home parent and he helps out with all of these things. And for a long time, I was really, really resentful because I was like, I'm doing all the work. I'm trying to make all the money. I left my business to start over from zero. And now it's your turn to show up and get a job and do all the things. And I was really resentful. And then I was like, wait a minute, what am I receiving in this marriage? Instead of being like, what am I doing so much of? What am I receiving? And I'm like, oh my God, he gives me so much time to work on myself and my business. He does all the grocery shopping. He does all the cooking. He does all the cleaning. He does all the laundry. And I think like women who feel resentful to the husbands at work and they're home all day doing all those things and not being appreciated for it, I like saw it and I was like, oh my God. And it allowed me to receive in that way of like, this is a gift. And I get to receive this time for me to do the thing that I love the most instead of looking at what he's not doing. And that to me was being like, when I got to be on the floor yesterday crying for no reason, like, no, I was listening to a training and it just all came up and out. And I was like in like a sense of panic because I didn't understand why I was crying. Mm-hmm. And he just like rubbed my back. And he asked me once, like, why are you crying? And I'm like, I don't know. And then he just sat there until I could like finish processing it. Yeah. And to me is like, I'm allowing myself to receive that instead of being like, you should have done more. So in that sense, I think in marriage, I have learned a lot more to receive and see the gift in everything that is there and that's being offered versus how it should be, right? It's like we look online of like the dream, the vision boards that is happening. And we're like, well, I'm not living that life. And so we miss out on what's right in front of us. What is the gift that they're actually sharing with you? Can you see it? And when you see it, you can't unsee it anymore. It's like, oh, it's always there. It's always giving. You just have to be open to seeing and allowing the gift to be there.
And when you're contributing so much, oftentimes it's so easy to take the reins and just say like, and just over contribute and overdo. It's important to like allow them, whoever they are, your partner, your friend, or whomever it is within the relationship with you. You are so powerful and capable, but it is, it's a practice in our work here at the Manfunnel to practice receiving in small ways. And so then when it really matters, you're able to receive because people need to feel valuable in their relationship with you, and they need to be seen and they need to be appreciated, but they need you to receive.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to tell it back, I mean, there's times where I'm like, I want something done and I wanted it done yesterday and it's not done. So I'm like, and I asked him to do it and he didn't do it. So I'm like, forget it. I'll just do it because you want it done, right? You're like, I want to check it off the box, right? It's the overachiever. It's like, I'm on the train, either be on the train with me or get it out of my way.
Yeah.
And instead it's like, give them the opportunity to do those things for you. Right? It's like we don't let them. We don't. Oh, Mel Robbins, let them. Right? Let them in the most beautiful, positive way. Let them show up for you. Give them the opportunity to show up for you, even when they're giving you like the breadcrumbs, right? Where you're like, oh, I'm kind of like here. I would love to explore more on that. Like, what happens? Jumping around a little bit because you know, if you guys listen to my podcast, this is what I do. Jumping around like to the breadcrumbs. Like, what happens when they're just kind of leaving you the crumb that keeps you strutting along? Which I'm sure the Manfunnel is the antidote to that. But I would love to hear more on that.
Well, you have to decide what you're available for in a nutshell. The problem with breadcrumbing is it's the what we were kind of talking about before: overinvestment, over-attachment, over-editorialization of something before it's like has value, before they have really invested in you. So it's very, very simple fix is just to manage your own mind and brain and energy and body and heart, which you do have more control over than you think, to just consider all of these things and not investing yourself prematurely. And that's really it. Having awareness that you could just simply be one plant in a group of plants that he is watering.
I love that metaphor. That's so good. And
I have many guy friends. I know exactly what they do. I know how they date. And so it helps you to, the reality of the same is something that I am able to pass on to my clients. I'm able to very easily and quickly put myself in his shoes and understand from his point of view. And then again, it's just like open and honest, transparent communication. Like, you can set the intentions with somebody and understand where you should be spending your time. You may not want to be spending your time with someone who is lacking intention or just sees no compatibility for the future. And it's like, just have the conversation so you can be released and move on. The problem is when there's physical intimacy and he's feeling like he wants to explore that for the sixth time because he's in the mood to. You have to differentiate between true intention and physical intimacy. And that's why the physical intimacy does, again, muddy the water. So if women are having a hard time out there, that is one of my suggestions, just like, take it easy from that. So you can like really truly determine who has intention, who's moving things forward. Period. And that just like makes it so much easier and makes your brain actually work properly.
Yeah. And it's like, I think, we're just such feeling beings, like, and we can't tell the difference. It's like, what does fear like in your body? And what does excitement feel like in your body? It's the same. It's the same. So it's like having the discernment too of like, okay, I'm feeling all these things. Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it excitement? Like, what is it? And I think there's like, we have this competing desire, right? It's like, I want love so bad. And I'm feeling the feeling in my body. Or is it fear? Because I'm like, I know this is a bad boy and this guy isn't good for me and I want him for all of the wrong reasons. Yeah. Or is it excitement? Because it's like, oh my gosh. And I think when it's, and correct me if this is different for you, but when it's the right person or the right client or the right friendship, there's a neutrality, right? There's not so much charge either way. It's kind of like a whisper of like, this just feels good versus like, oh Right.
1,000%, I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Okay. So let me know if you were to give women any like advice that they can start implementing to get themselves out in the dating world, besides joining the Manfunnel, because but just something they can take away with them today that is like, yeah, I am really ready to find love in like the most authentic way. What's something that you can let them know that they can start implementing and start kind of bringing into their life right now or in the next 24 hours?
Sure. I think one of the big misses is how transparent the dating process is. People are thinking of like strategies or this or that. Just like if you've got to put yourself out there. So women are just moving away from the dating apps so fast, and there's so many stories around that. Okay. But like, then who's setting you up? Okay. Who's actually setting you up? The answer is nobody. Okay. Maybe one friend has set you up once, but primarily my clients are sharing in contacts and following that they aren't being set up. You really need to take matters into your own hands. And if you're taking yourself so seriously and your ego's like holding on to the hope of like reading any little thing into like who you are, making it mean something about you, you're just going to make your whole process so much harder. So just like get accustomed to the fact that rejection is that redirection and experience it. If you're not putting yourself in the position to experience rejection, then you're not putting yourself out there. So I would love for you to put yourself out there. Like I had multiple lead sources when I decided that I wanted to meet someone. I wasn't like just leaving that up to happenstance. Nobody's like falling out of the sky. Like we're not in, most of us are not in offices anymore. Back in the day, 1 out of 3 people you dated in the office would end in marriage. Okay. Now people don't even want marriage. So you really need to get an understanding of like what you want and know that there's going to be someone out there that wants that too. More men do want marriage than women, especially second time around. So you have that as a woman. If you're listening to this, you have that going for you. You also have it going for you that so many women think the dating apps suck. Well, they don't. I date on them every day. I date for multiple people every day. I have multiple devices. I love it. It's so much fun. I'm having open, honest, heartfelt, warm conversations with these gentlemen who want to date my clients every day. And these men want love. And so like, if it's something that you actually want, it's available to you. It's just like your processes are getting in the way, and you can smooth that over. I think just like staying in your heart and melting some of the external parameters or the fear of what somebody's reaction to you or rejection of you might mean is going to make like your whole process so much easier. And of course, I can support you on that. We have a whole entire like implementation thing where we literally take over your entire dating life for you. I can't show up on the dates for you.
You don't have an earpiece that they can put in their ear?
I can show you how you can run to the ladies' room and send me a voice note, which happens. But other than that, we really set you up for so much more ease, so much more success, and so much more fun. I'm all like, look, one of my top values is fun. Anyone who knows me knows that. And so I want to bring that into your dating process. It doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to suck. You don't have to get as hurt as you might have been getting in the past. So we got this.
Yeah, I like to gamify even it's the same, yes. Like dating clients. It's like, how many no's can we get?
Exactly.
Like, let's just see how many no's we can get. And then it's like, wow, I got 8 no's. Okay, that's amazing. That means I put myself out there. That means you're being so brave and courageous versus the person who gets 0 no's or yeses.
Totally.
Right?
Good old Tom Hopkins. That was my first, sales training I don't even know, it could have been cassette tapes back in the day, but no, CDs. And the more no's I always would cold call and just say no's equal luck. So the more no's you get, the more luck that you have. The more action you take, the more luck that you can have. So last summer I took my clients to the Hamptons just to show them how to circulate the bar and make warm connections. And it's not about that one person being the right one. It's about your ability to connect, get curious, open your heart, and really what can you gather and gain from an experience of each individual? I think loving people is a beautiful thing, and that helps so much. Being curious, seeing the good in people. So I would flip that from fear of like, what is this? How is this man going to victimize me, to like, how can I put myself out there and trust my intuition, trust my heart, trust how I feel in my body around a person, and find the good ones who are there, the good ones who are doing the work, because they're absolutely out there, and you get what you expect. So if you're out there looking for the thing, or you've come from an abusive relationship and you don't, in that case, skills will truly help you to create healthier love your second time around. If you're coming from something tricky or hurtful, in order to not recreate that again, that is like a real true sign that some support could suit you very well. But otherwise, like putting yourself out there and trusting what you feel inside while you're going through your process will help you so much.
And just knowing you're inherently worthy. Like when you know your inherent worth without any story, any guy, any amount of money, it's like magic, right? I love magic. It's just like you get to be the magic. You get to show up for your life. You get to you're the leader of your life. You're the CEO of your life. Like, go be the CEO and live the life you want to create. And just really quickly, it's like, you're not going to create content, right? In the form of dating, in the form of business, by sitting behind your computer. How are you going to create? By going out there and doing the thing. Go do the thing that you're afraid of doing, because that's going to build courage. Go up to the guy. It's okay. Maybe you say differently, but I went up to my husband and I said, "You're hot." I
definitely want you to go up.
You do or don't?
Risks and have fun and say hello to. That's why I want you to practice saying hello to everyone. So then, it is a higher stakes person. You're experienced in that.
Yeah. I mean, I told my husband, "You're hot," and he came home with a wife. So, Exactly. I love it. This is so
well
good.
Well done, Karen. Well done.
Still married 8 years later. Woohoo! Thank you so much for being here. This was so much fun. So where can people find you? I'm going to also put in the show notes, but just let me know, where can people find you? Where do you hang out? How do they get in the Manfunnel? Give me all the goods.
Just follow the Manfunnel on Instagram. A lot of what takes place is in my Facebook group as well, the Manfunnel. So I'm easy to find. You can Google Megan Weks and read stuff and find me, meganweks.com as well. But yeah, the Instagram is a great place to reach out. And I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you about your dating processes.
Yeah, and she gives really good tips on IG, so go follow her.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So
much for having me. Great to see you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Rise, Shine, and Redefine. If this episode resonated with you, please hit subscribe and leave a review. It means the world to me. If you want more daily inspiration or any behind the scenes, follow me on Instagram at Karen Meininger for daily inspiration and behind the scenes. Until then, keep rising, keep shining, and keep redefining your journey.